The steady downpour of rain put parts of Hampton Roads underwater. In Williamsburg, residents struggled to keep themselves and their belongings dry. And in Virginia Beach, flooding soaked dozens of homes in 4 subdivisions. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leanne Rains. Diana is off tonight.
And I'm Terry Zahn. We begin our reports in Williamsburg. There, the heavy rains caused thousands of dollars worth of damages to both businesses and cars. Flooding cut off traffic to major roadways. But as Lauren Yee reports, this storm took most residents by surprise.
As the powerful storm finished its course, this was the end result. 7 cars piled on top of each other, the force of the flood pushing them together like bumper cars, leaving Tracy Tanni's on the bottom.
Nothing like this would happen, not in the Williamsburg area. You don't see many floods around here or anything at all. This is unbelievable.
Just next door, Ken Powell spent the morning mopping up. Water at one time standing a foot deep in his auto shop.
It damaged a lot of cars that we were working on, and we had to work around all the rain that was coming in the building.
Rain flooded the floors of this building and put holes through the top.
We put buckets out when it started to leak, thinking that we'd be able to control it, and the buckets filled faster than we could empty them.
Workers down at the Williamsburg Dam tried to control the waterways by sandbagging. Then one worker slipped and was swept away.
Hung onto a tree down there, and we were able to get to him with a rope and get him out of there.
This is one of the hardest hit areas, Colonial Parkway, where heavy rains have cut off travel. Parts of the Colonial Parkway instantly turned into a lake with nearly 4 feet of water. Deep waters overloading side streets. Business owners like Ken Powell say this flood they'll recover from. Next time, they might not be so lucky. In Williamsburg, Lauren Yee, WAVY News 10.
By the way, officials do say the parkway should be reopened by tomorrow.
Well, Terry, here on the south side, another day of torrential rain showers. Motorists heading to work this morning found the going slow as they drove through huge puddles along a number of low-lying roadways. Police monitored calls all over the region as reports about flooded streets poured in. Norfolk's Willoughby community was on the list. Chesapeake was also hit hard. By late afternoon, police say most of the high water was gone. Well, in Virginia Beach, 4 neighborhoods dealt with the rising floodwaters. Beach police urged all drivers to use caution while passing through low-lying areas. Homeowners also had a tough time keeping the water at bay. Margaret Douglas spent the day in Virginia Beach and joins us now. Margaret, how are Virginia Beach people coping?
Leanne, it was a real mess for people trying to protect their property. People had to move cars off rain-swollen streets. One ingenious man in Windsor Oaks devised a way to keep rising water out of the house. Steve Fleming fought rising floodwater the only way he could. Fleming grabbed a shovel and packed mud around the seams of his Windsor Oaks home.
This dam we had to put up last week. We put it up again this morning because every time a car would drive by, it would start splashing water up on our walls to the interior.
Drivers edged their cars carefully through streets covered with rainwater. It made going to work in the morning especially trying for some. City crews worked to unclog sewage drains around town. In the Alexandria subdivision, some people had to wade through the water to get to their homes. But by mid-afternoon, water was only ankle deep. Might be here a little while?
Might be here a little while. I'm kind of ticked. I think the developers could do a little better than this.
But the day wasn't a complete washout for these happy kids who played for hours in the stream the rain created. The rain was no joke for many people in the resort city. The Great Neck area had almost 7 inches of rain in the last 24 hours.
Margaret, I'm told this is an extremely unusual weather for the month of August.
Well, Leanne, the National Weather Service says Norfolk's already more than 4 inches above normal for the month, and it's only half over.
Interesting. All right. Terry?
What a mess. Well, as we head into the weekend, everyone is asking if this rain is going to spoil the weekend. Let's quickly check in now with Don in the Weather Center for the latest. Don?
Terry and everybody, I want to let you know that first of all, the heavy rain has ended. We want to take a look at the latest satellite or the latest radar picture. A low pressure system, which is centered over the Delmarva Peninsula, is centered right about there and is now moving out to sea. That was the thing that created our heavy rain. We still do stand a chance of heavy rain for the weekend, and we'll tell you about it in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Don. More weather-related problems. A dump truck carrying a load of wet sand overturned on a flooded Chesapeake Street today. The truck sank several feet into the soft shoulder of Centerville Turnpike in Chesapeake. Driver Roy Boone of Newport News was not injured in the accident, but the mishap tied up traffic on Centerville Turnpike for several hours. And if you're a frequent traveler through the Midtown Tunnel, take note of this. Tonight, the tube will be closed from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. on Monday morning. The Department of Transportation will be removing the existing surface pavement to prepare it for resurfacing. But this weekend's closing will not be the only one. Officials expect to close the tunnel every night next week between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.
4 empty cars from a CSX freight train derailed this morning in Richmond and fell 30 feet to a busy street below. The cars crushed a parked car. No one was injured. But the owner of the parked car says she was only 15 yards from the car when she heard a noise and looked back to see the train falling. Authorities are still looking for the cause of this derailment. Well, a Portsmouth couple is very proud of their son tonight because their son helped to save the lives of 111 people 1 month ago. Their son is Kevin Bachman. He's the air traffic controller who directed a crippled United Airlines DC-10 to a miraculous landing in Sioux City, Iowa. Today, his parents watched and listened to a job well done. Bill and Mary Jane Bachman heard their son bring Flight 232 to the runway for the first time since the mid-July crash. Last night, the Federal Aviation Administration released tapes of the jetliner's communication with the Sioux City Tower. During a live press conference this morning, the Bachmans were able to relive their son's nightmare from the moment it began
Sioux City got emergency for you.
to the moment before it ended.
Got the runway in sight. We'll be with you very shortly. Thanks a lot for your help.
The Bachmans say despite the success of bringing the DC-10 to the ground, the fiery landing is a painful memory for Kevin.
The part of the fuselage that the people walked out of ended up in a cornfield out of their view. He thought more people had been killed than actually had.
He did. He went through a rough time of wondering, you know, could I have done something? Did I do everything right?
The Bachmans say Kevin realized he'd done all he could do. He was back to work 2.5 days after the crash. His parents say he's a reluctant hero, giving all the credit to the pilot of the powerless jet. But the Bachmans know much of the credit for saving so many lives belongs to their son, Kevin. The Secretary of Transportation, Samuel Skinner, agrees with the Bachmans. He met with Kevin after the press conference this morning to congratulate the air traffic controller for bringing Flight 232 to the ground. Well, still to come on the Daily News, Farm Fresh supermarkets are recalling some ice cream.
And Joel Rubin takes us below ground on a special trip to Luray Caverns. That's when we come back. If you've purchased any Farm Fresh store brand ice cream since early July, it may be subject to a recall. Farm Fresh says tests show about 1% of all of its Farm Fresh brand ice cream in half-gallon sizes may have been exposed to an ammonia leak during its manufacture. So the store is recalling all half-gallon Farm Fresh ice cream with the code date G189 through H789. It affects all flavors in the half-gallon size. The store will give you a full refund.
Well, state-of-the-art technology has come to Virginia Beach. Lillian Vernon Company unveiled its new computer center at its beach distribution warehouse today. Governor Gerald Baliles joined the company's founder, Lillian Vernon Katz, for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Company officials say this will increase the company's ability to process orders and provide superior customer service. A prominent civil rights leader was in Hampton Roads today for the signing of a history-making agreement. Dr. Benjamin Hooks of the NAACP and Chesapeake city officials gathered at the City Hall late this morning to sign a fair share agreement. Chesapeake is only the 4th city in the nation to commit to minority businesses with this fair share agreement. Well, since 1981, the program's pumped nearly $500 million into the black community.
And Monique Braxton talked to one minority contractor about the ramifications of this fair share program for Chesapeake entrepreneurs.
Charles McKissick has been a mechanical contractor for 16 years. He says help is definitely needed.
Small jobs are done in a different way. Jobs under maybe $10,000 are done on small purchase in most places. And the bidders list is rather limited. And once the system is understood, then I think the opportunity is enhanced.
And McKissick applauds efforts by the NAACP to educate minorities on the bidding process, just one of the goals of Operation Fair Share. The retired Navy officer says he started doing business with the military, then decided to expand from industrial to commercial corporations. That's when he offered his assistance to cities like Chesapeake.
Well, between the cities of Chesapeake and Norfolk, we're averaging about $85,000 a year.
When the Supreme Court ruled against a Richmond ordinance setting aside 30% of city contracts for minority businessmen, many saw death to affirmative action. But Dr. Hooks and other civil rights leaders feel Operation Fair Share is one way of keeping hope alive in America. Monique Braxton, WAVY News 10.
Last year, by the way, minority businesses were paid $200,000 to do business with the city of Chesapeake. NAACP officials hope more will be coming their way as a result of the Fair Shake agreement. Well, I bet you can't guess what's in the forecast, can you?
Oh, let's see. Let's take a wild guess. How about some rain? We're sick of talking about it, so we're going to let Don do all the talking when he joins us from the Weather Center next.
Well, I can't remember when we saw flooding pictures like we saw in Williamsburg and the beach today. That's really major stuff.
Yeah, especially in Williamsburg, when you add it all up, you know, you said you can't remember when we've seen flooding like that. Nobody can, really, except for a very few of us, because it's really statistically a once in every 100-year event. And wow, what an event it was, especially on the north side. Water seems to be receding, but again, we are looking for more of the same through tomorrow night. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, some fairly heavy rain. I think I can guarantee that we're not going to see another foot of rain in one sitting, though, across the area. Now, we want to take a look at some of the rainfall amounts across the area. Obviously, the heaviest rain was on the north side, where we don't have a couple of them in here. 3 inches at Langley Field in Hampton, about 2.5 inches at Patrick Henry Field. Mike Joyner and Franklin reporting 5 inches. Obviously, the most heaviest rain, Yorktown. The Park Service reporting 12 inches there, 11.32 inches at the Waterworks in Williamsburg. Some extensive rain. A lot of rain in the Virginia Beach area. 2.95 inches of rain in Craddock, in Portsmouth. 2.41 inches at the airport in Norfolk, and up to about 7 inches across parts of Virginia Beach. So extremely heavy rain throughout much of the area. Now we're going to take you back in time when all this heavy rain was falling in Williamsburg and points northward, Yorktown, Williamsburg, Toronto. That's where everything was. Now we're going to take everything on up to the present time, and we'll show you how it moved ever so slowly, 9 a.m. this morning on up to the present time. And you'll notice a little bit of a twist in this. Well, there's a miniature low pressure area there. When I have a look at the latest radar picture, we'll be able to see what's going on for our area. And the remnants of the low are over the eastern shore. And we're going to see a little bit of a twist in the whole picture as some very heavy rain across the eastern shore. And most of the rain really moves on out of the peninsula area, Williamsburg area. Still some fairly heavy rain along the Outer Banks. Now back to the computer, there's an upper level low pressure system that's creating all this, and it isn't moving. Look at it right through here. See how it's twisting and turning right here? And it spawns little lows. The one that went right on through our area and is now along the eastern shore, creating some fairly heavy rain for Maryland and Delaware's eastern shore and moving on northward. Now again, this whole situation is moving toward the north, but this thing is not moving. It continues to spawn these little low pressure areas and move on along. And anyway, the mother low is still out there and continues to spawn these little low pressure systems that move northward. We have evidence of one in southwestern Virginia. That'll probably miss us. Another one in Georgia. That one, if it hangs together, it could hit us again by tomorrow sometime during the day or tomorrow morning, really. And this one looks to be moving on. We'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. This entire situation should lift on out by Monday. So we'll see gradual improvement over the weekend, but again, a good shot at some heavy rain. Here's a look at some of the after effects of some of that heavy rain and look at our current conditions. Right now, we have partly sunny skies, at least at the airport in Norfolk. 79, dew point at 71, humidity 77%, west winds at 18, barometer rising, and that is good news. Last night's low 71, high for today 82 degrees. Temperatures across the area again in the 70s to around 80 degrees. And again, we've had a lot of rain. It's all over for now, and we could get some scattered rain later on tonight. 72 degrees for a low temperature, east winds 10 to 15. Rain could be heavy at times. Could be heavy at times tomorrow as well. Pretty much same kind of day. I doubt that we're going to see a foot of rain. 80 degrees for a high temperature. Scattered rain for tomorrow night, 72. South winds 10 to 15. And Sunday looking a little bit better. More scattered rain. We'll call it partly sunny. Outside chance of some afternoon rain, 85 degrees. So we are looking at scattered rain through the weekend. Our best shot at some rain is tonight and then again tomorrow and tomorrow night, starting to improve a bit by Sunday. This is a once in 100 100-year occurrence for the Williamsburg area. We'll see heavy rain, but not a foot.
That's probably too often for them.
Yes.
See you at 11. Busy night in sports as the Yankees get a new manager. Bruce will talk live with boxing champ Sweet Pea Whitaker, and Jim McMahon has a new home. Sports coming up next.
Bruce, a change in the ranks for the Yanks.
Oh, hey. Nice rhyme there.
Smooth.
As if you wouldn't think that it would happen, huh? Yankees owner George Steinbrenner did it again. The inevitable. He fired manager Dallas Green. That makes 17 managerial changes since George bought the team in 1973. New York is currently in 6th place, 7.5 games back of the first place Orioles. The new Yankee manager, a former Yankee star, Bucky Dent, who's been managing the Yanks' top farm team, the Columbus Clippers. So Dallas Green is out, Bucky Dent is in. How long will Bucky last? Only George can tell. Other big news, the Chicago Bears traded quarterback Jim McMahon to the San Diego Chargers. The Bears will receive a draft choice from San Diego depending on how much McMahon plays. This means Mike Tomczak and Jim Harbaugh will fight for the starting Chicago job. McMahon will compete against Charger quarterback Mark Malone, who used to play for the Steelers, David Archer, and Billy Joe Tolliver. Coming up Sunday at Scope, the IBF lightweight champion Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker from Norfolk will meet the only man ever to beat him as a pro, former WBC champion Jose Luis Ramirez. On the line, Pete's IBF title and the vacant WBC title. Let me take you back to a year ago March, Paris, France. Sweet Pea Whitaker, in the opinion of most boxing experts, had apparently won this 12-round decision over Ramirez in Ramirez's hometown of Paris, France. When the outcome was announced, the judges awarded the fight to Ramirez. Since then, Pete won the IBF title, but he has never and will never forget that day in Paris. He fights Sunday. He's with us live tonight. Pete, you finally get your rematch against Ramirez. I assume you're glad this fight is in Norfolk and not in Paris.
Oh, of course, Bruce. You know I'm glad that the fight is here, and I'm sitting out here enjoying this great view of the Omni Hotel with a couple friends of mine. I want to introduce. I have Mark Breland over here to my left, along with Evander Holyfield, the real deal's in town.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, and now
we got some former Olympians and champions with us.
Yeah, my Olympic buddies are here to support me. Mildred's here, and along with the rest of the guys, and we're getting ready, and we're ready to do this, Bruce.
All right, now in your last couple of fights, you have shown you can knock guys out, but I doubt you're going to try to slug it out with a guy like Ramirez.
Well, Bruce, the game plan is set, and I'm not going to exclude my game plan.
Come on, Pete, give me the scoop, man.
Give you the scoop. Well, you want the scoop, Bruce? Here's the scoop, okay, for you. You know you're my lucky charm. We're gonna be banging Ramirez to the body, and we're gonna be right in front of Ramirez as though we were in the Haugens fight.
Okay.
So the fans are gonna get a hell of a show out there, and everyone come on out.
Okay, I'll see you Sunday, Pete. I'll be there with you, pal.
Okay, Bruce. I'll see you then.
Thanks for being with us.
All right.
Sweet Pea Whitaker, Sunday at Scope, 2 o'clock it all starts. We'll be live from Scope on Sunday at 6.
Looking forward to it. See you at 11.
Okay.
Well, when we come back, Joel Rubin's Virginia goes underground. We'll tell you why after this.